In this episode, I'm here with Paula Tett. Paula has over 20 years of experience working with internationally recognized lifestyle brands. As both an operator and consultant, she has a first-hand understanding of the daily challenges owners face. Paula is known for her track record of generating substantial financial growth in her role by putting on conferences that help teach people how to create highly engaged employee cultures. And today, we're going to be talking about hiring hard to manage easy. Growing a small business isn't easy, and to be successful, we know three things for sure. You have to work hard, you have to be bold, and you must constantly learn. We're gathering some of the best minds in the business world to share their ideas and strategies with you so you can grow your business easier, be more profitable, and have a lot more fun being a business owner. We're on a mission to connect the world of wellness, and this is the Mind, Body, Bold Show. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Garcia, and welcome back to another episode of The Bold Show. Paula, are you ready to be bold?
I'm ready.
All right, so when you say hiring hard to manage easy, what exactly does that even mean?
Well, it means first to recognize that usually when you're hiring, you are in a state of panic.
Okay.
And so once you recognize that, then the second thing is to step back and look at, how am I going to solve this problem? And the way to solve that problem is actually to have a system and practical approach to being able to find that replacement and that trading up to get that opportunity to bring someone to even a new level for your company.
Awesome. So what systems or processes do you have to have in place in order to achieve all that?
It's a great question. I find that most businesses don't even have a basic job description for the job that they're trying to fill. So I use the analogy of going to the supermarket. You probably, unless I'm the only one, have gone to the supermarket without a list. And when this happens, you tend to
buy everything.
Like you need something, right? You need milk, or you need eggs, or you need whatever you need. That's what gets you in the door. You wind up getting all this other stuff that you didn't need, and then you get home and you're like, I forgot the batteries.
Right.
And so hiring is kind of the same way. If you don't have that checklist of exactly what you're looking for, you wind up hiring somebody who doesn't have the thing you need.
Okay.
They may not have the batteries, and they have all this stuff that you maybe don't need and may not even be a fit for your culture.
So give me an example of that. Let's say I'm hiring a customer service, and let's say it's a company that you know of or even yours, right? It doesn't really matter because we're just giving an example of the structure of it. So what would that checklist look like so that you can say, all right, these are the things they have to have, or the qualifications they need to meet? What would that look like?
Absolutely. So there's four key pieces of this checklist. One is the skills that they need to do the job.
Okay.
So what are those skills?
Like the actual technical skills?
The actual technical skills.
Okay.
Second would be the experience, and we can elaborate on each of these, but the experience. So if they're in the fitness industry, do they need a certification? Is that something that they need to have? Do they have that? What is that list of experiential items?
Okay.
What are the skills? What is that list of skill items? Are they answering the phone? Do they need to have that skill coming in? And then the second two are really related to your culture of your company.
Okay.
So it will have to do with the personality traits. If you have core values, really identifying who that person is, what is that personality success profile, and looking at people who you've had success with in your organization and identifying all the traits that they have in common. Though their personalities will differ, there will be some commonalities, and you want to really source those traits through your interview process. The last one is their competencies. So if the job is, let's say, a sales position, we need this person to be competent at sales. If they're working in the fitness industry, most people need to have some skills and competencies in persuasion, because we're trying to motivate people to get out of their chair and do something that for most people they don't generally love to do, or they find a million reasons not to do it. So looking at each role you have with those four items and identifying who you've had success with, and also looking at people who've not been successful, so we can know to screen out not those qualities.
Awesome. And you talk about core values and making sure that you hire based on your core values as well. we've had a few guests talk about this on the show, but we never actually dug into core values. So can you, number one, tell me what core values means to you? Like what is the definition of core values to you? And then number two, could you give me examples of like a company's core values? Like what are a few kind of core values most companies would want to have?
Sure. So core values, I would say, are like if a company had a personality, what is that personality?
Okay.
I think that's one element of core values. I think it's also the word values. What is important to the company? So kind of the ethos of the company and what makes that company different. There's companies that can have a wide range of values and what's important to them. And a lot of times that has to do with the owner and why they embarked on their journey of having the company.
And an example of a few values?
Sure. So there's a book, oh shoot, now I'm forgetting the name, Delivering Happiness. It's this Zappos story.
Yeah.
If you're hiring for culture, I highly, highly suggest this book. And essentially, there's a lot of conversation about developing your core values and having them reflect. But one of the core values is doing more with less. And I really like that core value, and I think it translates well to a lot of wellness and fitness businesses. So if that's a value that I have, I might actually, in my interview process, ask the person, tell me about a time in your life where you've had to do more with less. And I just want to listen to that story, listen to that experience they had, and see if that's going to translate or transfer that personality trait into my business. I can ask that question of 10 people and have a very wide range of answers.
Right.
Some of which I'm going to find really align with my business and my core values, and some that maybe I'll assess don't.
Awesome.
Another one that I think is really popular is, having it be fun, or we put the fun in fitness, or whatever around fun. Obviously, we're trying to make this fun, and so that's often a core value I find of companies as well.
Awesome. One thing that I really liked about the ones that you just said, having fun, and what was the first one you said?
Doing
more with less, is that you're not using one word generic phrases. Like, when people say integrity or confidence, integrity at our business, we like saying we do what we say we'll do, which is pretty much integrity, but I can see that, a little bit more. And instead of honesty, honest in every category. That means something a little bit more, right? So when you guys are developing your core values as well, don't copy what other companies are doing, because you never know if that's working for them even.
So true.
Yeah, and make it really easy to understand. When they see the phrase, they know what that means every time they see it.
Yeah, and I worked with a company that I love that had like a lot of core values, and they were very long, and that was fine for that company. But if you can make them short and concise, and maybe 5, it really, people can count it off, they can replicate it, they can say it, they can breathe it. It really makes a difference to have them be concise.
Perfect. Okay, great. Now you've gotten to work with some really great brands. All the brands you work with have core values, like the bigger ones?
Every single one of them.
Every single one of them. And mission, purpose. So can we dive into mission and purpose a little bit?
Sure.
So is that something you believe is important as well?
I do.
Because a lot of small business owners, I think they know they should have it, but they never really put a lot of time into developing one. So when you say mission, to you, what does that mean? Like, what does a company understand that as?
Well, I think when a company is made up of people, you have a lot of people who you're trying to replicate a certain customer experience or style. And so I think when we have a destination that we all know we're headed toward, it makes it a lot easier to do that. So kind of, again, like hire hard, manage easy. It makes it easier to manage when there's a clear vision and mission of where we're all headed to and why we're doing this together.
Now, you've obviously learned a ton to be able to execute what you do for the brands that hire you, right? You've learned a ton. As far as books that you've read, or podcasts that you listen to, or influencers that you follow because you really think they deliver great information, if the audience, the viewers, the listeners, they say, man, I want to learn more about this, I want to be like Paula and really know what she knows, where can they go? Do you have a blog, right? Like, where can people go to learn more about what you've become an expert in?
Sure. I definitely say for culture, Delivering Happiness.
Okay.
Like, that's my go-to book for that. I also like, in terms of leadership, There's a book called Conscious Leadership that is phenomenal about really understanding your teams and dynamics and the personalities that can come into play, and really just straightforward getting everybody on the same page and moving in one direction.
Love it. Awesome. Well, Paul, I want to thank you very much for coming in and sharing some of your wisdom. I know a ton of people here are going to be able to watch your talk, and not everybody is going to be able to, but for those of you that weren't able to make it to the Bold Conference, you got a lot of value out of Paula today. And to learn more about Paula and what she's up to, where can they go to follow you and learn more about you?
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, and it's just Paula Tett. Here it is. And so thank you guys very much, and we will see you next week. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you like this episode, then subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher, and to our YouTube channel to never miss an episode. You can get all the links by going to boldshow.com. Thanks, and see you next time.